Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. So the hour has finally come, the time that marks the passing of the resurrected Christ from the earth. And as Jesus prepares to go, his first consideration is always for his own. These words are Jesus' prayer for us, words that will continue in the lives of those that have come to know him. I will not leave you. I will be with you. I must go, but my Spirit will come and be with you. The Spirit will keep the message alive for you. We can rest easy then. We are taken care of through our belief. But belief is hardly easy. Unfortunately, this prayer is not just meant to reassure us, because it is an invitation to take the risk in loving God. In this passage, Jesus summarizes his work on this earth as creating the opportunity for people to know God. This is the work of Christ's people, and it is work. Christ tells his followers that wherever 2 or 3 are gathered to invoke his name, he will be there. It does not say that only whenever 1 or 2 are gathered in agreement, he will be there. It does not say that only wherever 1 or 2 are gathered in love, he will be there. It simply asks that the gathering take place so that he can return to us. At the time of the disciples, people could look back a few days to find where God had been with them. But now, we can look back 2,000 years and find God. We have so many tools at our disposal for revealing Christ, who continues to circulate through the veins of this world. Shortly after the American Revolution, during the early 1800s, people gathered by the tens of thousands to experience the presence of the Spirit in what was known as the religious revival movement. 20,000 and more people would flood an area for days, weeks, living out what has come to be known as the Second Great Awakening. Thousands were converted to bear the mark of Christ on their lives because of what they witnessed during those gatherings. Americans were in the midst of defining themselves as a collected people, and a large part of that definition lay in what it meant to be faithful. Our political democracy, our healthcare systems, our public education, our social welfare programs all began at that time because people wanted to represent the Christ that they knew in the scriptures. These infrastructures were shaped and fueled by the need of people to witness the presence of Christ in their midst. People had the need to care, and people needed a place to put their call to love. Christ knew fear, and he knew what lies beyond the fear. Jesus wanted his people to know that when you are afraid, the mighty hands of God are upon your head. When you need to be restored, supported, strengthened, established, the mighty hands of God reach out and bless you. Today, we hear Jesus praying for us. Not a friend or a favorite aunt, but Jesus himself. Today, Jesus stands before God praying for us. He says, "Protect them for me, God. Keep them within your mighty hands and make us one." A few of us were able to witness the Spirit at work yesterday as some 200 Episcopalians gathered in Hastings to choose our new bishop that will lead this diocese. Picking leaders is a very particular expression of faith. Followers cast a vision of what we hope to have done, while potential leaders cast a vision of what they hope to do, when neither vision actually exists and neither party actually knows how it will come to exist. During long hours of interviewing and grueling scrutiny, a priest has to think and answer as a bishop would, even before they actually are one. And we, the people, have to find unity in our search when we all have such very different priorities. We have to shave away all that covers over our commitment to the principles of Christ. Together, the leader and the people must sustain a place in existence that can express the God we know to be with us, without actually knowing the form that that expression will take. And all along the way, all the people must hold steady to their commitment that God is the one making the final decision about that sanctified leadership, not us. Truly, it is an act of faith, our faith, to let the body of Jesus go so that he can return to us in spirit and continue his work on the earth. But then I stumble in this gospel reading because there is John's language that says, I am not asking on behalf of the world, but on behalf of those whom you gave me, because they are yours. Now wait, this sounds like the world is being condemned and the Christians are a separate consideration. But isn't Christ's love and protection for everyone? There are two ways of understanding these words, historically and symbolically. Historically, John's community was an early formation of a Christian group trying to carve out its identity in a world that severely rejected its message. This is a small group of people that needed to know that God would be with them as they risked their lives to preserve these teachings from Christ. Today, the world continues to be a place of religious persecution. It is the duty of believers to know that faith will always set them apart and risks are always steeper when treading along the margins. Now, symbolically, the world here can also mean the internal world. The danger is not always outside of us. Still, God's protection is available to us as we shape our responses to our internal world of bad impulses, as well as our external world of condemnation. When we love one another, we live with the risk of possibly losing what we love. But when we love God, we take on the risk of being loved. We risk making a promise through our baptismal rite that we will always seek out and find Christ. And we risk having the faith that Christ will be there in all of the places that we look. In loving God, we risk losing our blindness. We risk giving up the ability to ignore his presence among us. And I can promise you that